Imagine a place where the walls seem to be made of gold, where ceilings are painted with gods, and mirrors reflect infinite power. A place where the sun never sets, because the king himself is the sun. Welcome to the Palace of Versailles. The year is 1682. To the outside world, this is the envy of Europe, the pinnacle of art, fashion, and sophistication. But look closer. Beneath the layers of expensive powder and heavy wigs, there is a darker truth. This is not just a palace. It is a prison. A golden cage designed by one man to trap the most powerful nobles of France. Today, the Time Architect invites you to spend 24 hours in the court of Louis XIV. We will walk the Hall of Mirrors, witness the bizarre rituals, and uncover the filthy reality hiding behind the perfume. The day begins not with the sun in the sky, but with the Sun King in his bed. At 8 a.m. sharp, the first valet wakes the king. But Louis does not simply get up. Waking up here is a performance. It is called the Levée. Imagine this: 100 people squeezed into the king's bedroom. Dukes, princes, and marshals of France. They are not here to discuss politics. They are here to watch a 50-year-old man put on his socks. In Versailles, proximity is power. To be chosen to hold the king's candle is a triumph. To hand him his shirt is a victory worth more than a battle. Louis knows this. He turns every mundane act, shaving, dressing, eating, into spectacle. And by making the nobles fight for trivial honors, he keeps them distracted. While they argue over who holds the napkin, they are not arguing over who rules the country. As the king moves through the palace, we enter the most famous room in the world, the Hall of Mirrors. 17 grand arches filled with 357 mirrors. In the 17th century, mirrors were incredibly expensive, a luxury only the ultra-rich could afford. To walk through this hall is to walk inside a diamond. Light from the gardens floods in, bouncing off the glass, creating an aura of divinity around the king. But wait, take a deep breath. Can you smell it? The visuals are divine, but the smell is horrific. Beneath the splendor, Versailles is a sanitary nightmare. There is no modern plumbing. Thousands of people live here, yet there are almost no toilets. The staircases reek of urine. The hallways hold the scent of unwashed bodies, rotting food, accumulated filth. To fight the stench, the courtiers drench themselves in heavy perfumes, musk, amber, civet. They carry pomanders filled with spices, just to keep from fainting. The contrast is dizzying. Eyes filled with gold, noses filled with decay. We step outside into the gardens, a triumph of geometry over nature. Every tree is clipped, every fountain is synchronized. It is a message. The king controls not just France, but nature itself. But keeping up with the king is expensive. Fashion in Versailles is a weapon. Louis demands that his courtiers dress in the finest silks, velvets, diamonds. A single outfit could cost a year's income. And this is the trap. To live at Versailles, you must spend a fortune. Gambling is mandatory. High-stakes card games last for hours. The nobles bleed money at the card tables and the dressmakers. Slowly, they become bankrupt, and a bankrupt noble is a dependent noble. They can no longer afford to raise armies against the king. They can only beg him for pensions. The golden cage has snapped shut. Evening falls. It is time for the grand couvert, the public dinner. The king eats alone at a table facing the court. A crowd watches him chew every bite.
He eats immense amounts of food, 4 plates of soup, a whole pheasant, a partridge, a plate of salad, mutton, and 2 slices of ham, all cold, because the kitchen is a mile away. Silence reigns. No one speaks, unless the king speaks to them. It is awkward, tense, absolute. Finally, the day ends as it began. The coucher, the ritual of going to bed, the same crowd, the same bowing, the same fight to hold the candlestick. As the heavy velvet curtains close around the king's bed, the palace does not sleep. In the shadows of the corridors, the real games begin. Secret affairs, whispered conspiracies, and the silent desperation of thousands of people trapped in a world of reflection. Versailles remains a symbol of absolute monarchy. It is beautiful, yes, but it is a beauty built on control, debt, and illusion. Thank you for walking the halls of history with us. If you enjoyed this glimpse behind the velvet curtain, subscribe to The Time Architect. The past is never as simple as it looks.